What's up guys? So today I've got a pretty funny video to do a reaction to, and it's from my boy's channel Sakanda. Shout out to Sakanda. He's been doing this Mortal Kombat thing for a very long time. I honestly don't know how his hair has fallen out at this point. Not only does he play Mortal Kombat, which is stressful enough, but he plays Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat 1, which is widely considered to be the worst character in the game. I don't know if they're still right at the bottom, but when I was playing, they were right at the bottom. As far as I can see, based on what other Sub-Zero players have told me and based on what Sakanda has said, Sub-Zero seems to be at the bottom. Now, he posted a clip to Twitter of him having a fight with a Tanya player. Now, I'm going to play the clip here so you guys can see. And as you can see in that clip, he froze the Tanya player. When he went for an overhead, the overhead whiffed. Whiffed, for those of you that don't know, means that it completely missed when it should have hit. And it erupted this massive conversation about whether it should have hit and whether it shouldn't have. Now, nobody's really spoken about it the way I'm going to. And I'm going to reveal to you at the end why this move should have hit, and everybody that's saying that it shouldn't have hit is an idiot. So you have to wait until the end of the video for that, where you can skip over to the end, whatever you want to do. But I'm going to go over some of the tweets, because in all my time playing fighting games, being part of pretty much every big fighting game community, if you go through my YouTube channel, you can see that I was a Soul Calibur player. I was the #1 ranked player on Soul Calibur 5 online for a long time. I've been a part of the Mortal Kombat community. I've been a part of the Tekken community, and even part of the Street Fighter community to a lesser extent. Definitely Street Fighter on the lesser extent. So I've been around the block, pause. And in all my time playing fighting games, I have never met people as dumb as the people that are within the Mortal Kombat space. And I'm sorry if you're catching feelings hearing me say that, but it's just true. There are so many dumb people playing Mortal Kombat, it's insane to me. I never really used to understand it, but then I looked at the sales, and then I looked at the kinds of people it attracts, and there seems to be a big crossover between Fortnite and Mortal Kombat, Call of Duty and Mortal Kombat, FIFA and Mortal Kombat. It's got worldwide appeal, so this is going to happen. Now, this video is basically going to show you the difference between people that understand how fighting games are supposed to work and people that don't understand. So, we're going to do a little bit of a reaction to Sakanda's video, and we'll go over it point by point.
This fucking community on Twitter is brain dead! They are insane! Oh my god! In my last Mortal Kombat 1 Kombat League stream, I clipped a moment in that clip. Tanya Tade, as I like to call her, literally dodged my overhead while she was frozen on the floor in front of me. Because of that happening, I've decided to take a 5-day break from streaming the game.
Sakanda, you need to take longer than a 5-day break. You need to just quit playing Mortal Kombat. Not because you're not a good player, you're a very good player, but because this game is going to make you lose your hair. You are going to age about 20 years if you continue down this road.
I clipped it and I posted it on Twitter. And within 18 hours, this clip has over 200,000 views, up to 800 likes, over 100 comments, almost 100 quoted tweets, and the entire Mortal Kombat community on that fucking app has gone insane. And you won't believe why. 50% of the response to this clip are supporting me, aka they are outraged by what happened in the clip. They have no idea why that happened, and they're outraged by it. And then the other 50% is literally trying to change the fighting game logic of an overhead. As explained in this screenshot by Ketchup, who was on my side with this thing, he describes what overheads are supposed to do. They're supposed to hit people on the fucking ground. They're supposed to hit them no matter what.
Now, I'm just going to pause it there, because what I want to say is that there seems to be some confusion around how overheads work amongst the tournament players and the casual players. Well, let me rephrase it. There's no confusion amongst the tournament players because they're well aware of how things are supposed to work within the game. But for casual players, they're just looking at it visually, and they're seeing Tanya very close to the ground. So to them, only attacks like sweeps or slides are going to hit. Now that's false, and again, if you wait until the end of the video, I'm going to show you why you are wrong. But the responses that you're about to see are absolutely just mind-boggling. Now, what I've done is, rather than going through it on Sikander's video, because he goes through it very quickly and doesn't actually speak about each individual screenshot, I wanted to show you some of the dumb responses that he got to that video. And these are not the only responses. You can go on Twitter and you can see the abundance of stupidity. Sometimes I feel bad saying stupid because they are casual players, so I think maybe they just really don't understand. But when you start saying things like skill issue, that phrase drives me up the wall, honestly. It shouldn't, because it comes from people that can't play the game very well. I've had it myself on previous uploads. And most tournament players or pro players get it, and it's really annoying. These are people that clearly play FIFA or Call of Duty or Fortnite. So I'm going to read to you some of the tweets. Now they might look a little bit blurry on the screen because I did pull them from Sikander's video, so I had to screen grab them. So if they are blurry, I'm going to read them out to you. So this person that says slightly black male has said, actually this is extremely easy to punish. You should have labbed this. Already, that response, you already know that this person doesn't play fighting games very often, or when they do, it's on like a very casual level. It's not somebody that has deep-rooted fighting game knowledge. So I'm not going to go in on them too hard. It's just clearly they don't know how to play the game, or they don't understand the rules surrounding 2D fighting games or Mortal Kombat. Then Crashing Coyote says, just because you're bad and don't know how to use Sub-Zero properly is your fault for being trash. Again, assuming this person probably plays Fortnite, doesn't understand how fighting games work. Blueberry Waffle says, it is a skill issue though. You're blaming NRS for your own lack of knowledge on a character which I'm pretty sure from my understanding you main. Now I want you guys to remember this tweet, because at the end of the video when I show you why all of these people are wrong, just remember that this person is trying to make out like Sikander has the lack of knowledge here. Ryder CGA says, nah bruh, you quite literally played yourself. You had so many other options, but you decided to go for an overhead while she is laying on the ground. What was she going to do? Magically teleport to her feet for the animation? I also want you to remember that. Please remember that. This person also goes on to say, given the fact that Mortal Kombat 1 is notorious for missing shit consistently, I'm not surprised. As fun as it would be dope to face you, especially given the fact that I've been a fan of yours, I'm at work. So I'm guessing that Sikander probably called this guy out, and you know, they turned down the challenge. Maybe they are at work, I don't know. But just notice that in that tweet, his excuse was that the game is not developed properly, and so it's horribly inconsistent, so it's your fault that NRS sold you a game that doesn't work properly. That's basically what his tweet said. We understand that this game is horribly inconsistent. It's your fault. If it's horribly inconsistent, how could anything be his fault? How is that even possible? If nothing is consistent, how do I know what to do when? It's not like if you're playing a game and there's a 10 frame punish. No, in Mortal Kombat, maybe it's 9 frames today, maybe it's 15 tomorrow. What kind of dumb response is this? This person, Robert V, says, I haven't played Mortal Kombat against someone since 3. Slide or sweep were right there and you went big. Feels like that's on you. Again, they don't understand. I'm going to get to why they don't understand in a moment. This is the biggest skill issue I think I've ever seen in Mortal Kombat 1. Bro could have legit just done back 3 into Serena and gotten a full combo, but tried to go for an overhead while Tanya was basically laying on the ground. And then lastly, JP says, the reaction from this clip exposed how stupid most of the player base is. My fault, not just stupid, but confidently stupid. One toxic genius even said overheads aren't supposed to hit ducked opponents. Now, we've seen all the tweets. We've seen what everybody said. I'm going to show you why these people are wrong. If you watch this clip, when Tanya gets frozen on the ground, because she's doing that move where she spins about on the ground, look at what happens when Tanya's character resets. She doesn't get up off the ground. She stands up immediately. What does this tell you? It should tell you that the game is supposed to allow the overhead to hit, because the character, when frozen, is technically on her feet. Now, I know this might be hard for some of the casual player base to grasp, so I'm going to try and say it as many times in as many layman ways as possible. When Tanya is doing that move, when she's spinning on the floor, the game is programmed in a way so that when Sub-Zero's ice clone touches her, her body, even though she's lower to the ground, the game understands that she's standing, and that is why when she unfreezes, she immediately teleports to standing. The game is not coded to allow for a situation, or it shouldn't be anyway, clearly intended by the animation, or shown by the animation, for the overhead to whiff. The overhead in 2D games is supposed to hit opponents that are on their feet but ducking. That move that Tanya's doing would be hit by an overhead if NRS tested their game properly. You guys think that NRS did this on purpose. This was not intended. NRS did not design the game for that move to not be able to interact with Sub-Zero's overhead when frozen. Otherwise, when she unfroze, she would have been on the ground and then stood up. That move is not intended to literally be her laying on the floor. It's just an animation for her to sweep your legs. And when I had this conversation with somebody following Sikander's video, because I showed it to some people and they were talking about Tekken and how some characters in Tekken go under mids. Now, firstly, mids in Tekken work completely differently because you have mids that come from high and you have mids that come from low. You have mids that hit very low and mids that hit very high. And in Tekken, they intentionally design the mids as such, and they intentionally design characters to avoid them. Case in point, Ling Xiaoyu. Ling Xiaoyu has a stance where she goes very close to the ground intentionally, and if you have a mid low enough, because there are some in the game that will hit her, you will see her slide across the floor. Namco intended for Ling Xiaoyu to go under. The same way Feng Wei, his sway, when he goes into his sway towards you, he can go under certain mids. Not all mids, not all of them, because the mids in Tekken work differently. Overheads in Tekken, as 2D players would call them, work differently than they do in 2D games. This is a situation that should not have occurred. This is a situation that you would not think to lab, and this is clearly a situation that NRS did not account for. Otherwise, Tanya's animation would not reset to standing. I am flabbergasted that I even have to explain this to people. How stupid can you be? Honestly, how dumb can you get? The Mortal Kombat player base is just populated by some of the most down bad stupid people I have ever seen in my life. Just go on Twitter and look up Mortal Kombat and just look at the abundance of nonsense. I understand why Sikander got mad at this. Now, Sikander bro, if you are watching this video, if you can hear my voice, you've put in a lot of work into your channel. Your channel's great. You're clearly one of the most entertaining Mortal Kombat players, but dude, you're gonna lose your hair. You're gonna lose your hair, you're gonna go mad. This game was intended for the very people that are defending this Tanya Sub-Zero interaction. Leave it to them. Let this game perish. I mean, if you go over to Twitch now and you look at the viewership, the game's dying anyway. I was under the impression that the casuals were all over this, but apparently nobody's even watching it on Twitch. I guess it sold what it sold and then that's it. You know, it was a flash in the pan. I must sound like an advocate for Tekken, like I'm an inside man working for them because I've been telling people to drop Mortal Kombat and come over to Tekken. But honestly, you're going to have more fun, bro. This guy's so stressed out about this game, he wants to not stream it for 5 days. I don't know what else to say. I honestly don't know what else to say. The people that say this is a skill issue, they don't understand fighting games. And there's really no point in trying to explain it to them. I hope that this video and my explanation and you watching this clip over and over again helps you understand that NRS did not intend this. This was not intentional. They did not program it so that Sub-Zero could not overhead Tanya in this situation. It's just that, as we've seen with this game, with multiple interactions, multiple bugs, and multiple balance patches, they did not test it properly. Anyway, before I close off the video, I did just want to touch on this really quickly. Now, this is kind of old news, but about a week old. But there's a Mortal Kombat player that goes by the name of Tim Tiger. And his name on Twitter is Unapologetically Black. Now, in my opinion, after this tweet that you put out, you should change it to Unapologetically Stupid. What they said was, the only reason why Eddie Gordo hasn't been revealed yet is because the creators of Tekken are racist and don't care about black characters or dark-skinned people, so it's going to be a while until the real fighters come out instead of these white Latins and Asians. Now, as somebody that's half black, let me just say, on the behalf of my brothers and sisters, we do not claim this idiot. This idiot you're looking on the screen. Yes, that one, cosplaying in Jade. I know. If I have to suffer, so do you. And Harada had the best response possible for this moron. Harada's response is as follows. If you think you can just claim anything that way and it will pass, you are mistaken. Leroy and Raven will kick your ass. Come to think of it, there are no Japanese characters in the American dramas and movies that I love, but I have never felt discriminated against because of it. What do you think is the crucial difference between you and me? I'm sure you don't understand. You are not logical at all. You are simply a delusional person who doesn't even realize that even if it were an emotional argument, it doesn't make sense. And that is the best response that you can have to these imbeciles that try to rush people down with these woke claims of racism, misogyny, transphobia, homophobia, anything that they can get their hands on. Anytime that they can complain, they will. For someone to say that the Tekken creators are racist is insane to me, considering there are so many different types of people represented in Tekken, and they all speak their own languages as well. This isn't like Street Fighter or other fighting games where it's either English or Japanese or just English. In Tekken, they all represent where they're from. And there are quite a few black characters, and there's been strong black representation in Tekken. But there doesn't have to be. Don't forget, Harada is a Japanese man that lives in Japan. If there were only Japanese characters in Tekken, do you think I would care? It's great that there's loads of people represented, but there are loads of things over here in England or over in the States that only represent the people that are like us. And Harada doesn't complain. I don't complain when I'm watching anime and there's only Japanese characters. This person, that person right there, you're gonna suffer with me, is an imbecile. And anybody like them is an imbecile as well. So I just wanted to throw that out there because, again, there are going to be idiots like this whenever there's a big title coming out. And I think Harada handled it how all developers should handle it. Do not cave to people like this. This person was just looking for a bit of attention. And to be fair, they got the attention they wanted. But Harada's response was perfect. And I hope that more developers don't just cave into the demands of these clearly deranged people. Anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Sikanda, drop Mortal Kombat, come over to Tekken. You'll save your hairline. And I'll catch you guys later. Take care and peace.